Hello and welcome back to another episode of the ACC's Netball Podcast Court Session. My name is Sam Winders. With me is Erena Mikaere. We're brought to you by the Export Beer Garden Studios. We're here to talk about Game 2 of the Silver Ferns versus the English Roses series. And as predicted, the Ferns smoked the Roses by 22 goals. Was it, Erena?
Yep, run it back. They sure did. We predicted that. We knew it.
We did. We always had faith in the girls. There's a lot of chat going on out there, but we knew they'd do it.
Goodness, and I'm glad they did. And it just looked like
we're all glad that they did.
But let's be honest,
your neighbours didn't want to see you run nude down the driveway, did they?
No, they did not. Thank you for that reminder. No.
Yeah, well, I was definitely going to hold you to it. You'd be doing it in the middle of this podcast if they did lose.
I'd almost look all right because I'm nearly covered in tattoos now. If you didn't know, you haven't seen me over this off season. That's what I've been doing.
I thought you were going to say it's going to be all right because actually I'm on 75 hard. So
no, but how do you read my mind? I've been thinking about doing that, and after like barely watching the game, I'm like, maybe I need to do that because I know I've got to have my legs blowing up 7 foot tall for photos. So I thought, I better start getting this off season back into some in-season training. So yeah.
What? So Erena's getting lots of tattoos on her legs. Do I give a quick rundown of that? It's quite fascinating.
Let's have an update of where we're at the moment.
Yeah, go on.
We know we won the Ferns, so let's update where we're at. I've been sitting on the tattoo table for it's 16 sessions now, 16 days. Each one is 5 to 6 hours. And so I'm getting my puhuro done, which is my legs. It's a type of pattern that is in the design that is on the legs. Essentially, we won't go into that detail, but 16 days, 6 to 5 hours a day. With the lovely lady who designed the magic dress. So Jules, she designed the magic dress in 2012, and again when we brought it back in, Sammy and I, and we popped that design onto the dress again, that depicts Mahuika, but she's now doing my legs. I gave her my legs as a canvas, and at the start it was all great, and then got to about sessions 10 and I said, what am I doing? What is going on?
You would be questioning. So okay, we're like I don't know, chalk and cheese, you and I. Like, Erena has quite a large percentage of her body covered by tattoos, and I don't have a single one, so I can't even empathise with you how sore it is. So I'm just going to say, toughen up, E. Just get back in that studio and lie on that bed and
I can't empathise. I have to go in tomorrow, actually, so we've got a couple of sessions tomorrow. No, a couple more to go.
It must be tough, but worth the outcome.
That's right. And where are you at, Sammy? Where are you at?
No tattoos. This week I've been doing a bit of netball coaching at school holiday, so I'm doing some netfit coaching in Oamaru on Monday and Balclutha on Friday. We were going to be going to Twizel, but they didn't quite get the numbers, so that was the bugger. That's been fun this week. I'm off to Alexandra this weekend. My husband has some sharing there, so that's kind of fun. But let's just bounce back to netball really quickly.
Yes.
Because Eda and I both had quite different but similar experiences watching this game last night. Neither of us had a very pleasant time watching. The game itself ended up good. The Ferns had a good last quarter. They made everyone a bit stressed for a moment when the Roses came back at one point during the game. But I just had a really not great time. So it started out, I was watching the game and then it was like quarter time. So I thought I'd do the dishes. So I filled up the sink with dishes. With water. Then I came back and then the game started again. So I was sitting watching the game again. And then I looked up and I just saw like steam in the kitchen and could hear water just running all over the ground. So I was like, oh my God, I overflowed the sink, which was just great. So the game's playing. I'm mopping up the kitchen with towels, sweet as. Next quarter, I'm like, all right, I'll put the dinner in the oven. Didn't need a lot of time. And then so I was watching the game again, got distracted, burnt the dinner. So I was like, what the heck? This is just not fun for me right now.
No, I guess the silver line was that they won.
Yeah.
And we weren't really watching because that's the disaster. And I also had a disastrous experience. So I was in town. So if you don't know, I live about 30 minutes out of Rotorua, out of the central Rotorua. So I was in town and I thought, yay, I'll get home. I'll check the game on and just watch the game out. I'd make it home by about, say, second half, maybe. And I left town and heading home. And if you don't know, Rotorua has some unreal roadworks at the moment. So roadworks is crazy. You've got to leave another half an hour beforehand. But that wasn't my problem. Time was not my problem in this. The hole in the ground was my problem. I don't even have my own car. I was in my mum's car. And I smacked into the big hole that the road workers think is great to leave there with no cones around it, and fully popped my mum's tire. So that was not a great experience. I had to wait then for the state insurance people, roadside rescue, to come and help me out. And then he was a young boy who was 18 and literally showed me up while he changed the tyre. So I had a great talk to him about life. Oh, I've never had to. I could have done it. I actually looked at it and I was like, I could have done this, but yay for this 18-year-old boy who went to Lakeside, which is the high school I went to. Yep. And then we talked about how if you can survive here, you can survive anything. And then I asked him about the netball game. He knew nothing. So we were stuck there.
No, it's nothing.
Stuck in nothing. We knew nothing. But it did catch on Instagram that we had a debut. So
yeah, we did.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And England had some debuts because I follow one of the girls who played for Fast Five from England. I actually, when I met her at Fast Five, thought she was stunning, and I was like, yeah, I'll follow you. She's cool. So yeah,
nice. I was just going to say about your incident, because you didn't give me a chance to comment on that, because it's sorry. It's quite intense. Because I'm the same. I've never had to change a tyre, so I wonder how that will go when I have to do that one day, if I ever have to. I guess that's why you get a husband or a partner. I think I have to do that for you, because I had my dad, and then now I've got Joe, so it works.
Can we just pop a story in there? I remember you and I were playing for Magic, and we were playing in a preseason tournaments against the Mystics. And do you remember when they had their van and their staff, their coaching staff, purposely put things in their way to get to the game so that they had to, I guess, adjust for when things didn't go right. So their coaching staff popped their tyre on their van.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make it to the game in time. So they had to change it. So I wonder who did it there. I'm going to guess it was Grace and Peter.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Sulu, because she's just such a motherly, she'll know how to do that. Grace, did you say Grace?
Yeah, because she's gonna do the jack. She's gonna put the jack up, and then Peter's gonna do it.
No, Peter will stand there and look pretty. I was also thinking, how dare the roadworks people not have cones up? There's every other reason that I don't understand when they've got cones up. You know, there's cones for Africa. We've got 5 cones per person in New Zealand, something ridiculous like that. It might even be more than that. There's 5 million people. There's 30 million cones. That's wrong maths. That's 6 per person. But you know what I mean? There's 30 million cones in New Zealand. Someone could have put one cone in that hole.
I've seen a couple in the lake and the
on top of buildings.
Christchurch. Yeah, so I don't know why they weren't.
I got 2 outside my front door at the moment, outside the front of my house. I don't know what they're there for.
All right.
I don't know. I didn't steal them.
At least we're not hitting holes on the netball court. Let's pop back. Now, let's talk about England, because what I did find out from you when you got to watch it in a few parts, England fell apart.
Yeah, I did mostly watch it when I wasn't burning dinner or overflowing the sink, or arguing with my husband about what channel we're watching, because the rugby was on too. Anyways, England weren't the same England that played the other night. The other night, they were so slick. It was like they'd just come over here from England. They had no worries. They had no pressure on them. They were just like hyped to play. And then this game, it's the classic, like they did well, so shit, we got to back that up. And they just kind of fell apart. So I really hope in the last game that they just take that pressure off themselves again and just go out there and play, because like they shot 68% and you just can't shoot anything less than 85, I reckon, to be competitive in an international test match. Anything less than 85% shooting ain't going to get you the win. I'll just put that out there. And they shot 68. So, and that was like across the board. That wasn't just like one single shooter. It might have been where the middies were putting them. They weren't necessarily shooting under the post. Kelly Jury had her lean on. Phoenix got one or two deflections, like great defense in the circle. But then they just got rattled, and yeah, they just weren't on like they were the other day.
Oh, well, it was almost like the two different games, like one team in one game, and that's the same with the Ferns, and then they flipped, and it was like, here's the Ferns, and here, what is England doing? So,
and here's England. Oh, yes, that's what we thought.
That's what's happening. I thought there was great chat from the coaches on the side, but as a coach, and you're there when England's shooting 68%, what are you thinking? Because is there any other job in the world that you can turn up and get away with putting out 68%? Like, so, for example, I'm going to say, could I go to work as a teacher and give 68%? And I feel like I could. Back in the day, I feel like if the teacher, you remember when the teacher used to roll out the TV screens, because we didn't have those interactive whiteboards? I did. I reckon that's a 50% a day. You just roll the TV out.
And do you know what makes me laugh is I remember when I was at uni and you'd study, and like some of your friends would be studying primary school teaching, and they'd just be like OTP on a Thursday night and then get up and go to placement the next day on a Friday. And I'm like, this is the next generation teaching our children. Like, oh my God. So yes, a 50% day is likely from some teachers, for sure. You can get away with it.
So Sammy, I want to know, do you know any other jobs you reckon you could get away with doing at 68% or less?
Oh, maybe. I'm thinking maybe you could have like a chef in a restaurant who just is a bit rushed that day, or just can't be bothered doing all the chopping of all the vegetables. So they just go to Pack and Save and whip open a salad bag, those nice Asian slaw or ranch somethings, add a bit of the dressing to it, mix it up in a bowl and serve that on the plate. Put that in the wee bao buns or the tacos that you're serving. There's a lot of options like that. They could just get my food bag sent to the restaurant and then whip up on my food bag plate. What do you reckon? Is that doable?
Yeah, that's doable. So would you say then fast food restaurants? Because I've seen sometimes at, I know BK one, I don't know if this was a while ago, put my burger in the microwave. I'm pretty sure that's 50%. Like they made that burger and they put it in the microwave. So I think that's like an England shooting 68%. Someone else has done the work and got the burger there. But then
that could be. There definitely potentially some fast food workers could do that. They don't get paid enough really to put that much effort into their jobs. That's true. But in saying that, my brother, when he was studying at uni, his uni holidays job was at McDonald's, and he ended up rising through the ranks to become a manager at this store. But seriously, I've never met anyone who's worked so hard at such an underpaying job before. There's probably plenty of people out there who do that, and I take my hats off to them, because going above and beyond isn't always expected. Or
McDonald's,
people,
they're elite. They're pretty elite.
They are. I think they are quite elite there.
I haven't been to Burger King in a few years, so I wouldn't know. But last time it was microwaved.
Good for you.
Thank you. Okay, so we went from a 68% shooting to our debut player. So I've got something to say about this, because I got a bit of slack in my messages about our last episode and me saying what's her name. So sorry, Sammy, because I'm going to do it again. Who was our debutant, and why? What were they? Why can't it? What is it? Who's the debutant? Firstly,
It was Amelia Walmsley. She started at goal
Amelia
shoot, Erena.
Walmsley.
Remember, you've played her. She plays for the
Yes.
Central Pulse.
Yes, okay. So my thing is, I didn't not know her. I don't want to get her name wrong. So firstly, I know a Kelsey and a Chelsea. And when I was getting Kelsey mixed and wanting to say Chelsea instead of Kelsey, it was like anxiety city. I know an Amelia Ann. So the little person inside of me wants to say Amelia Ann when I say, I mean, I don't even know if she wants to be called Mills because, Amelia. Well, I got it. But I didn't want to get it wrong because I've also been called Erena Mikaere. So I didn't want to come onto a podcast and I feel like
Erena Mikaere.
if I get you to say it first, I'm not in the bed. So don't come at me for not saying her name. I did know who she was. We had to do a drug test together post the Pulse and Magic game. And yeah, she's quite a good chick. Her and Famu was making me annoyed. So no, I love Famu. But that's it. So I'm sorry there. Anyway,
Nice.
back to the game.
Anyway, she debuted. She did very well. She took a few hits to the ground and, everyone's like, welcome to international netball. So that was good. She, did well.
Does this mean anything for Grace Wicky? It just means when she get back, she might have another tall shooter there, right? She might.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, they've got a few options and they got Maya Wilson on the bench and Mama's has been around for quite a few years now, probably coming up to 6-7 years playing.
Yeah, I think she's another solid shooter. When she's on her game, she's on. And I think something like this will get her.
Well, she just hasn't been given like full consistent, you are the shooter.
Yep.
And that's kind of what New Zealand's been missing. Like, who is the shooter? We do really like having one big tall person in the back there and old reliable kind of thing that we just know that's what we're working with. She's kind of been in and out, which, I don't think no fault of hers. It's just like a selection preference. So
I also really like her at goal attack, just random. Just a random thing. I just also in that position, like in that thing, she also makes a great goal attack. Like she just does her job, and she also puts the ball up. Yeah, that's nice of me saying nice things about my boys.
Good girl.
Okay. I heard some things about umpires. Sorry, can we jump into
I was going to say, you wouldn't have seen it because I don't know how much the game you watched, but I was having a good laugh at the umpires last night. They did a good job, I have to say. But they were quite different. Like one end let a lot of penalties go and then the other end called them all up. But I rate these guys. They're very good umpires. And Josh Bowring, who was the male umpire last night, first of all, he's a man with calves of doom. But second of all, he was doing a really good job of demonstrating each penalty. So the goalkeeper would like smoke her ass into the goal shooter and he would do the action just to make sure everyone knew what it was. So, and he'd like stick his ass out. I thought that was, yes, Josh, that was exactly it. He did that really well. But then they both of them made a couple of calls where the shooter's shooting and the defender's having to stand down because of contacted or obstructed. So they're standing next to the shooter and they're kind of like bent over a little bit, like shoulders a bit slumped, hands on hips. And if it was me, I'm like, I would stand like that too because it's like a free break. You can just take a rest when you're standing down. So you just get into a comfortable position. And both umpires told the defenders, stand up straight, please, when they're standing down. No hands on hips allowed. No slouching your shoulders. Good posture, please, ladies. They may as well have called.
Wow. Sound like my trainer, but how do they know my back ain't sore? Like, I was just want to have relax my shoulders for a couple of seconds. If you compress your lungs a little bit.
I'm trying to get oxygen in. My trainer said it's best to slouch a little bit. It's a myth that you put your hands on your head.
If you compress your lungs a little bit, they fill up faster, then you can bring them back up. So compress for a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone's like, hands on head, inhale the oxygen. Like, that doesn't work. When has that ever felt nice to put your hands on your head when you're finished exercise? You're allowed to slouch a little bit. So I might bring that up with them next time. Can you imagine, if I was there and they said that? I feel like I would probably have said, I'm tired, ref. I'm just having a rest.
Yeah, yeah, I could imagine you saying that
What
actually.
else?
You would say that to, and you would get away with that.
Mm,
Whereas I have a story from Plain Opens netball recently. um, I got called, I think, for obstruction, and in my body and my eyes, I felt like I was walking like, well, it was only like 2 steps away to set that penalty right next to the shooter, and I went to like walk
so
over.
you were like taking your time to get back to next to where the shooter was.
Well,
Is
I
that what you
was
mean?
tired. I was
Oh, right.
tired,
Oh,
but
yes.
but I
Of
had
course.
like I had taken 1 step and I was getting there, but she took the shot really fast. So
Yeah.
as you know, that could be classed as taken. So the penalty's been taken.
Yeah. Yeah,
And this
because
is
you don't have
against
to wait. You don't have to wait anymore for the defender to
exactly.
stand down. You can just shoot.
But so there's a fine line now apparently. So I went to go say, oh, well, I thought I was walking back there, and this is against Auckland, who would have put us into top 4 had we because we only lost by 3. But so anyway, I'm like, oh, and I'm going to stand down. And okay, I wasn't tired because this was the first quarter, right at the start. And I was like, oh, went to walk her stand down. She popped it up, missed. I jumped and grabbed the rebound, and I was like, taken. Went to run away with it, and he goes, no, set the penalty. And he who shall not be named said, set the penalty. And exactly that, he who shall not be named. I said, oh, come on. Say
He
it
who
was
shall not be named.
yeah. Oh, come on. And it was Sammy. I said, oh, come on, Sammy. Are you kidding me? And I got in trouble. That's a caution. I got in trouble straight away for saying your name.
Nope, that's a caution. Oh, what? You said my name though. Oh,
So yeah,
we go back and forth all game. Escalate to a warning. Escalate to a send off. Then he gets sent off, and then you have a fist fight. Is that what
I
happened?
wonder. Yeah, do you reckon that would happen in the Ferns game? Could I like message someone and be like, "Can you say the umpire's name?" Sorry,
Definitely not. You definitely cannot. Like I've had those experiences where you are like in the corridor behind the court before a game, and you're like, "Hey, blah blah blah, how's it going?" And they're like, "Hey, Sammy, good. How are you?" Get onto the court and you just umpire and centre or wing defence or goal defender or wing defence or goal defender. Sammy, good. How are you? And you just umpire or wing defence or goal defender or wing defence or goal defender. Sammy, good. How are you? And you just umpire or wing defence or goal defender or wing defence or goal defender. Sammy, good. How are you? And you just umpire or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just or wing defense or goal defense or wing defense or goal defense. Me, good. How are you? And you just